Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Lady Morales, and in today's video we're going to be talking about emotional eating and my little kind of perspective on it. And is emotional eating a thing? Is it not a thing? Is it just a myth? I'm gonna clear that up and just again talk to you from my personal experience with my struggle with the label of emotional eating, as well as that kind of stuff. Now, emotional eating. I labeled myself as an emotional eater, as well as someone who was addicted to sugar and to food. More those topics for another day. I labeled myself as an emotional eater for so long because I carried around this idea with me that a lot of people out there teach about intuitive eating, that you're only supposed to eat when you're hungry, and you're only supposed to eat at a hunger scale of 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever. And I have my own opinions about hunger scales as well. Long story short, they never worked for me. Anyway, but so even then, while trying to be an intuitive eater, I was still very diet focused on being the perfect intuitive eater and eating as little as I can, and eating, whatever, eating, and I'm supposed to be only eating, vegetables and fruits during my recovery and all that stuff. So I still had like these restrictive attachments to intuitive eating. So then came along the topic of emotional eating, and a lot of books that I read talk about how emotional eating, you're supposed to like, okay, stop, write down what you're feeling, and write down before you take the next bite, like how, just do like an entire freaking ritual about what before putting food into your mouth if you're emotionally eating. Because again, for me, I felt like I was supposed to be like, have all these hunger pangs and be just starving, and if I wasn't, then I would be I was emotionally eating. Emotional eating is a myth. It is such a myth that the diet industry created, that emotional eating should be feared. And the only reason why it's a concern is because it's associated to weight gain. That if you eat emotionally, it's going to lead to weight gain. Let me tell you guys something. I ate food. I binged on food, whether I was on vacation and happy with my family, or whether I was sad, whether I was neutral, or I was indifferent. I still ate regardless. Emotional eating is not a thing. And I had to, once I realized that the only reason why emotional eating is such a concern for me is because it's associated to weight gain, that's when I was like, oh, see, I'm still in that diet mentality. Because here's the thing, my friend, I asked her about this one time. I'm like, hey, do you ever eat when you're bored? And she's a normal intuitive eater. Like she's quote unquote naturally thin, and she's never had an eating disorder or anything like that. She's been the one that, like, no matter what she eats, people tell her like, you need to eat, because she's so tiny and she can't gain weight to save her life. And I asked her, do you eat when you're bored or when you're just not hungry? She's like, yeah, sometimes I'll be in the mood for ice cream, or if I'm bored, I'll get like some chips or something, So that's when I was like, okay, this is a label that the diet mentality is trying to enforce, and I'm attaching myself to that label. I need to drop that label right now. And that's exactly what I did. I don't believe in emotional eating, again, because normal eaters, quote unquote, eat when they're not really hungry, technically. I mean, they eat when they're bored or whatever, and they just move on with their day. It's whatever. And the more I tried to not eat emotionally, the more that I wanted to eat, because I was restricting in some way, shape, or form. Not trying to eat emotionally, it's still restricting. It's still restricting. The point of intuitive eating is to eat with unconditional permission, regardless, and trust your body no matter what, because your body just doesn't want food just for shits and giggles. And your body doesn't want to, if your body is in the mood for food, give it food. Just eat, guys. Just eat. They overcomplicate it. You don't have to do those hunger scales. Okay, like how on what level am I hungry? What number am I on? No. It's still in that trying to get it. I'm trying to be perfect at intuitive eating. I had a lot of nutritionists and people who tried to, way, shape, or form, still enforce restriction in one way, have me fill out those hunger scales, and it only got me into that perfectionist mentality. And they only freaking, it made things worse. And I was so focused on like, oh, I need to be at an 8. I'm at a 6. I'm not really hungry. And so then, as much as they would say like, don't think about it like that. Like, no, just understand that this is just for the point of exercise. I was like, bullshit. This is fucking bullshit. This is making me more obsessed about being a perfect intuitive eater. Once I swear to you, listen to me. Once I allowed myself to eat with unconditional permission, my body's hunger cues just figured themselves out. I was no longer binging. I was taking weeks to finish a chocolate bar. I was not finishing an entire box of chocolates in one sitting. And most importantly, I would eat something, let it go, and move on with my day and never think about it again. Once I allowed myself to eat with unconditional permission and I let go of doing all those stupid, maybe it works for some people. I'm not going to totally disclaim it. I've heard that it works for some people. For me, it just kept me in that perfectionist mentality of trying to be the perfect intuitive eater. I'm just saying all this to say emotional eating, for me, on my experience and my perspective, I believe it is a myth. I don't believe in emotional eating because I ate whether I was happy on the beach with my family. I ate whether I was going to a party, and I would binge eat whether I was on the happiest and the highest vibration and frequency, and I would binge eat where I was like sad and on the absolute hellhole. When you allow yourself to eat with unconditional permission, you will notice that food begins to not be such a big deal anymore because your body trusts you and understand that it's going to be fed again. Because and that's just how it is. And don't get so attached to the label of emotional eating. Everybody eats. Normal eaters, intuitive eaters, whatever, they eat when they're not hungry. There's no perfect intuitive eating. Just freaking eat when you feel like it. And the more you do that, you will begin to see that your body it's got your back. Your body's got your back. Because if it didn't have your back, you would probably be dead. Your scars would have never healed. You would have never healed from any cold, flu, stomach virus you've ever had in your life. You would not be at your body is always reaching to be at homeostasis, and you gotta trust it. If you don't believe me, you just have to trust your body. Your body is with you, not against you. Emotional eating, in my opinion, is just a diet made up term that keeps people in fear and keeps people trying to restrict and control when really it's not. Emotional eating is really not a thing. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like it is a thing maybe you do eat when you're bored or whatever, but if you're in the mood to eat, just eat. Like, it's not a thing. If your body wants food, if it has room for food, just go with it. Okay? Other than that, I hope this video helps. Give me a thumbs up and give this video a thumbs up if it helped you. Of course, don't forget to leave a comment if emotional eating is a label that you've been attaching yourself to quite extensively, and your struggles with emotional eating. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and we will definitely talk on the next video, peeps. Bye.